Good morning. This is Secret Scuff coming at you live with Ace Attorney Investigations number 1. Now, it's obviously been a while, huh? I was gone for basically the entire month of February, or at least the latter half. And let me just adjust my audio a little bit because it's really, really loud. There we go. That should be a whole lot better. At least for me. Yeah, okay, I think this is a good balance right here. So we can go ahead and take this off. And today, to make it up for being gone for so long, we're going to be doing a bit of a endurance stream. Just go as long as we can. Obviously, we won't be able to beat the entire game in one stream because it's a very long game, to my knowledge. But, hey, we can try and get as far as possible. Hopefully don't knock anything down in the process. So let's just jump into it. I might need to adjust it on my end a second. Yeah, let's do that now because it is just a tad bit loud on my end. So let me go ahead and adjust that. It's been a while since I've done this, so all my stuff is sort of messed up a bit. There we go. We should be all good now. So, oh, one more thing. All right, now we're good. So let's hop into it. I don't know much about this, other than it has a different play style than the other games. And that's really all I have to say. I guess the second game wasn't translated for a long time. I know that. That's why I actually didn't get it on the DS originally, because I was only going to be able to play one of them. And I'd rather have just waited until it got translated. Obviously, it's taken a very long time for that to happen, but still. Oh, voices. To make sure the defendant is found guilty. What other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. Oh, is this after the first game? That may be true, but why? Who's this? Why go this far? Okay, new character. Oh, it's from Karma. Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. Oh, actually looked at Von Karma. Looked like Karma. No matter what the cost. Okay, who do we got here? Oh, they're gonna tell us the murder right away? Okay, sports guy. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. No, that's not a voice. Always have been, always will be. Oh, I really need to get into the groove of this thing. It's been a while. Prosecutors building, 12th floor hallway. We're probably going to be seeing that a lot, as soon as where Edgeworth is. Alright, Edgeworth voice. Here we go. We didn't have to do this much, actually, during the other games, since Edgeworth wasn't around, really. And when he was older. It's hard to believe. No, we're going into Apollo and Phoenix there. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood? Ah! What the? What's the meaning of this? Go ahead, have her freak out. Freeze! Oh, not the police. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Oh, there's a safe back there. Is that a threat? Oh, he's refusing to talk because Edgeworth would know who he is. Gotcha. Let me make one more thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Backs away, runs out the door. Good. My name is Miles Edgeworth. And now I'm going to do one more audio check before we really get into this. Okay, seems good to me. Unfortunately, that took a... I was trying to get that done quickly, but I messed things up. Oh, now I had to set them back up again. Oi, hold on. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. We're not here for professional quality streams, after all. We're here for the scuffed ones. And I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases, and some very frantic and busy days. Okay, so we can tell from the office layout that this is after the first game, but seeing as how we never see his office after that, we don't really know what it is. I guess we know this is before the third game, probably, because around that time he was ascending to become chief, and since he was just abroad, I'd say this is probably right after, or right in the middle of, or right after the second game. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away, sir. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Ah! Look what they did to your office! It's totally trashed! I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa! This sounds like you're getting really burned up over the whole thing. I'm not sure if that's the voice I want for Gumshoe. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Oh, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. No, that's leaning too much into the judge voice. Okay, time to do some investigating. Yeah, no, don't like that one. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched into the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Well, that's new, okay. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Can I see that? Oh, we have a prosecutor's badge. I mean, I guess they did establish that we have those in the actual series, just that Edgeworth doesn't wear it because it apparently didn't go along with his uniform. Oh, okay, we have the victim, unknown, and Gumshoe. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office? I think we should we're gonna keep changing Gumshoe's voice until we find something I like. Slight changes, I know, but I can hear them. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. Ah, yes. Gumshoe should know this, but I guess it's a game mechanic, so we need to know. So, how do you use it? First, I recall the information we've gathered with the left button, and I connect them with Y. Well, I have a feeling it has something to do with that safe back there. Unless that's something they were just foreshadowing for the future. Well, Ed card in your office, using the office key. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of the crime as mere coincidence. Hold on. It's been a while since I've done this. I need to get my throat, like, cleared. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Man, I'm gonna have to clear my throat a lot, huh? Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. Alright. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply use A when I'm next to it. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use Y, okay? I'll give you a great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Alright, well, where do we want to look first? Well, let's go look at the gun first. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Well, I guess we can talk to Gumshoe. You called, sir? No. I want to check the gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I'd hardly call it disposing, though. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued this exact same model. I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So, it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by the precinct's detectives. Alright. Well, it looks like... I assume we had a lot to look at regarding the body. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Yeah, well, we gotta check those hands first. Let's see. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. It looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they are done processing the crime scene. Found at 2:05 a.m. Burning the midnight oil, eh, Edward? Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know how to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or within my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but press right button to open my organizer. I thought you were pointing at your head as in you remembered it all, but okay. Well, I don't want to read out the tutorials right now. I guess you just put your hand on his stomach. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey! I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinky-dink. Let's take a look inside, shall we? Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Shot with his own gun, it seems. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now, to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. I don't want to do that yet. No. I want to investigate more. Let me see. Can I check over here? Does this let me investigate the bookshelf? Your files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I water the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. That killer is going to pay. This tea set... you're really mad over this, huh? This tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Yes, I'm sure you do, Gumshoe. Can I investigate here yet? I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa. That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe? You know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us have time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think you can afford to take any time off. How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. Alright. In that case, it's time to put some information together. Well, we know the victim was a detective. Which is why we know where the revolver came from. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives, could have belonged to our recently departed. Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see, what have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. Oh, we get to do this again. Nice. Yep, you don't need to tell me how to do this. Let's take a look. It looks like... Are all the bullets in... Well, all the casings are in there. Nothing on the handle. Can't see anything down those. Not modeled. Let's check the barrel. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the victim with just one shot after wrestling the gun from him? No, that means the victim was not shot with this gun in particular. This gun was used to shoot my little clothing rack thing. Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to autopsy. Jim! Oh, this guy. Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? What's his name, Jim? No, it's Buddy Faith. Why are you calling him Jim? Are you alright? Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't just talk about him like he's some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure. Just in a blood-stained soup, pal. where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So, you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to this door was with me the entire time, okay? So, the only one who can get in here was me. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means, actually. So, it was you, then? You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You got it all wrong. Everyone, calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know how to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor, right? You're something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you. I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there. Sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Well, let's go take a look over here. Your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So, the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? Oh, what if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Uh-huh. Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Yes, there is. Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence, or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find a spot that holds the contradiction. Right here. This is it. The bullet holes where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press Y with conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. And the revolver. Point. Oh, Eureka. This bullet hole is the contradiction. Well, what do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first failed the victim. And the second failed this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Does the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that. It's a secret safe. The secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare us from the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Also, that was a rather strange line delivery. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Ooh, it's been marked. Oh, talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it off once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, or I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So, why did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now? Nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, we can just go ahead and take a look at the keypad. Now, this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. Alright. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this step back. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Alright. Let's see, what do we got to deal with? Killer's goal is probably the fingerprints, yeah? Eureka! I believe I have figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe is wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. Well, let's see. What do we learn from that? If the motivation was theft, then that means they weren't planning to do the kill. In which, if they weren't planning to do a kill, then why'd they bring another handgun? Do I connect these or to connect the sign of the struggle? I don't know. No, that's not it. Oh, and you can't skip the dialogue there. Well, I mean, my initial thought was, okay, well, there's... Well, no, I've already... bleh. My mind... Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mouth and my mind, they are arguing. There is a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. No, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm going to shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Sure. Let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones have to die so young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And? So, what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it! Here, let me help! Oh, this man. That's clever. I mean, I knew he came here to do something, but he's getting his fingerprints all over the files so that if once his fingerprints are found, they can't be used to accuse him. So this file goes here and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay? Done. It would appear that the murderer was definitely committed here. Oh, the bloodstains on that bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. Hold on, how are those... Let me see, thumb on the outside. Okay, I can see how he puts his fingerprints like that. There's a bullet hole on the bottom shelf. Interesting. So assuming the bullet went clean through the victim... Hold on. How is this victim standing? Oh, those thumbs are the inside. Okay. So then was he backed up against the shelf with his hands down? Yeah, it seems like it. Okay. And then he has them on the floor too, from when he fell, I guess. And then the guy fell on the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Yeah, why is the bullet hole all the way here at the bottom? Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Oh, well, not especially. Well, yeah, I guess we can say that it went through the abdomen. Eureka! There was clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. Well, what do you mean, sir? You don't see. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or laying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means... wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The order of the files, yeah? I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? But hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, they are... The way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. I suppose it wouldn't... I guess so. Never mind. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Ooh, there's writing on the other one. Do those other files say Gumshoe? They do, I think. That's interesting. Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man and then look through your files this one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. But why? Now, the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. Oh, right over here. This. What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe out on there in blood? I'd say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Gumshoe, sir, help me. Say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? Alright. Investigation complete. Only got one mistake. Well, looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. Yes, please, enlighten me. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude, and there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. How do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? No. Mr. Portsman, if you are ready. If you don't have time, you could just say so, sir. Sorry to be mean, Gumshoe, but I don't want to read a tutorial. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. Oh man, that is absolute garbage. That is the worst testimony I've ever heard in my life. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest. I still don't know why you call him Jim. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence. Alright. Ooh, what happened to my mic? Is it all good? It's all good now. Okay. Well, we already know that's not true. So can I present that Gumshoe's an detective and he has his own gun? No, I can't. Also, we already know that he already only had one shot. So do I present here immediately?
Objection!
I would. Mr. Portsman, there's a large flaw in your logic. Really? I think it holds up rather well, actually. What do you think is wrong? Nothing. Let's move on. Okay. This isn't like you at all, sir. Concentrate. That was careless of me. I can't afford to do that or the truth will slowly slip away. Remain calm, Miles. This is the only way. Okay, well, let me just tear into this guy really quickly. You stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. First of all, stealing a gun that's in a holster that's also concealed, not easy thing to do, even for a guy as big as Gumshoe. Second of all, Gumshoe has his own gun. And third, we know the gun wasn't used to shoot, well, we know that the gun on the floor was most likely used to shoot the painting. Second, you messed up the files to make it look like you'd committed theft instead, but theft was committed because one of the files is gone. And then you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. What are you talking about? Why would he do that? That doesn't make sense. And thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters that his body was hiding. Once again, doesn't make sense. How would he have written it if he was sitting on the bookshelf unless he has the arms with the length of a gorilla? Also, theft was committed, so he would have noticed the letters. And also, final words, this has never once in, like, the history of Ace Attorney actually worked. Most of the times this happens, it's a red herring. I think I've seen it happen once, and it was so stupid. No. Okay, yeah, worst testimony ever. I can't believe I can't tear it to pieces immediately. We had to take it one step at a time. Well, let's see. Theft was committed. Do we have a stolen file? We do.
Objection!
It would behoove you to take a good look at this. Okay, apparently that doesn't work either. I don't have a button to skip dialogue, do I? Is there a button to skip dialogue in this? Let me see. Hold on. Key configuration, reader, gameplay. There we go. There we go. There we go. Well, I guess we can just press everything then, if I can't tear into him. Man, this is upsetting. That was the wrong button.
Hold it!
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. Huh? What is it? Why do you call the victim Jim? And clearly his name is Buddy Faith. Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jocks and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jocks and Buddy just sounds off. Somehow. Besides, he was the third of the bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. Huh. He talks about the victim like he was his pet.
Hold it!
Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but poor thing. What an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no?
Hold it!
And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway...
Hold it!
Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are, pal? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. I can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it, with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup for the game-finishing Spike. Okay, well, let's see here. They give me a pretty big hint there, so let's tear into this one. Didn't notice the bloody letters they were hiding. Well, we know that they weren't even on the ground, right? So do I just present the stolen file?
Objection!
Yeah, there we go. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Heh, bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. If you have time to laugh, then you have the time to take another, closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines.
Objection!
It's possible that they could have been taking the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone, and there's only half an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in the blood in the files, especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means, what exactly? Why does that make this dying message? It makes the work of a criminal intent... Oh. It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. Hey, that's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Oh, brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of an Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. You win some and you lose some. That's how life goes. I'm glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But, you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. Oh? Well, what is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? Well, I was thinking. Did you know there's one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? Oh, is it Maggie? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Hey, Maggie. Oh, she has a blue Badger shirt. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open the office doors in this building. What? No, not again. If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I will never sneak into someone's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl was the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Okay, it's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So, you're saying she used the master key? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there's anyone other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get to Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Alright. Let's see, where do we want to start with this? In that case, let's just start from the beginning, shall we?
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but But I wasn't able to use the Master Key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, yes. Moving on, I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean, unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Of course I should. Not so fast. I, too, am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Did I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the Master Key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know. Why do you have the Master Key now? I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ha! A likely story. Where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Well, let's see. Where do we want to start with this? Well, we know it can't be the safe because only the prosecutors know about that, yeah?
Objection!
Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth after all. And it's also by your logic that we came to this whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about the safe, pal. That means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses! Why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault! What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's what I told him. I filled him in on the secret saves. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him, too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, though. But the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming the victim was the thief? And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you, Miss Maggie Bird? Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even if it's even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was a thief, he wouldn't have a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah! Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless... Well, unless you retreated from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But, sir... We have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now, don't disappoint me, you hear? Alright. I thought we were gonna pin him there. I guess not. Yes, I would like to save my progress. Thank you. Into the hallway. He left the basketball out here, of course. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then, what now? It looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Well, we can already see the book under the bench and the basketball. Let's check the book first. Actually, let's see if we can go past these borders. Oh, hey Payne, how you doing? Well, it looks like he had a basketball hoop set up, probably because one of these is his. I imagine this is his office, just next door. But let's check under here first, shall we? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's... Ah, isn't that the missing Zero Series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing, too. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So, what are these Zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of old court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Uh-huh. They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Ooh, Von Karma, perhaps? Then that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Yes. Wrong button. Wrong button, yep. This office. 1203. 1203. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsman's, sir. So, he's my neighbor, I see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas? Oh, certainly. It looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste. Sounds like a messy cake you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious. I'll keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? Ah, you don't remember? It's Winston Payne. What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit through the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? Is everything alright? Oh, is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning, and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice. Stay focused, or you may start to lose even more weight. You know, it really doesn't seem like there's that much left to do in the hallway. I guess we can talk to Maggie. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with why. Well, let's talk to her first. Have you ever met this victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Oh, hey, look at that. First bot of the night. Let's see, did someone get hacked or is this just... Oh yeah, that's just an actual bot. And... ban. Goodbye. Back to the game. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd have loved to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass on the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in at all that well with them. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it you are an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. But one day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I've become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know! And just when I thought I'd finally found happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Well, let's see. Can I present? Oh, I can inspect this. Nothing a note. Nothing a note. Okay, inspect this. It's just still photo. And same with these other. Oh, can I inspect the back of the prosecutor's badge? Oh, it has something on it, I assume. Oh well. Present the key. So, when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? Ah, it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say? Except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that I was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting on the ledge. She used the master key? Okay, tell me more about this. What do you mean by you used the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. Oh. Okay. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah! What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please, tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way! It's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. So Portsman moved the, basketball goal and probably swapped the number plates so that Maggie opened the other office for him, yeah. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So, in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that. You've never left your keys at your home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Yes, good. I won't rest until it. Okay, well, we know the nameplate, not nameplate, number plate is removable. Room 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Portsman's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. Bah, why am I even wasting time thinking about this? It's Mr. Portsman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office. But, you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office ever since it's been here. How long have I had the same office and yet you still manage to get lost? The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor, Detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise that you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from? Oh man, I fumbled that. Why are the hinges on the outside if it's supposed to be secure, eh? A minimalist, yet classy door made of top quality wood. It's kind of majestic too. Fits in really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense. The man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne? I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Alright, well, I'm not going to get much out of that. It's time to do some logic. Master key was stolen, but the master key was also used. Yeah? I don't think I get anything out of this, actually. The key was missing from 1 to 2:30. But it was used at 12 and 1:30. That doesn't make sense. How does that make sense? Hold on. It was missing from 1 to 2:30. Yes, tell me about this. What's going on here? Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow! Nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I had totally forgotten all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And, well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the room, then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. Oh, Maggie, if you weren't going to get fired already, you're definitely going to get fired now. Can I logic some more with that? No. I cannot. Well, what else do we want to check? There's nothing else on the door, right? I mean, I don't think so. Yeah, no, I can't move the camera anywhere. Can I inspect my door? 1202. These 4 numbers on the number plate alone. Oh, I skipped that in accident. Proclaimed to be this to be my office. Oh, whoops! Hey, these number plates slide right out, sir. They have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... Yes, put it together, Edgeworth. Can I see if this room is locked? The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here. Oh, wait, yep. The door is locked, you say. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Is it? Let me see. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be locked up still, yeah? Or unlock, I guess. There's a... Yep. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is the door locked tight? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door? But how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is examine the prints on the number plate, yeah? The prints on the number plate. And they will tell us all we need to know. Everything? Really? Like, what, sir? Oh, wait, I guess that's not really helpful. Oh, no, it would be helpful, because we would know that he has his... Oh, no, I guess not. Because his fingerprints being on his number plate is not that weird. Like, well, for example, and such as... Well, we know for sure that Detective Gumshoe's dinner will consist only of instant noodles. Wow, that was amazing, sir. How did you know? Was that supposed to be a joke to cheer me up, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, that's it. Now then, should we get back to doing what we need to do? And that is... examine the prints on the doorknob, please. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey, you! Yeah, you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So, what'd you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, Detective. Sir, I found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Faith's prints on the doorknob. So, only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on the doorknob as well. And that would be Maggie Bird.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... Yes. The door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. what have we here? Ah, finally I can inspect it. Well, we can see that the basketball hoop's been moved recently. Well, what are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, Detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. Yes, well, that's a very sloppy mistake, I must say. And what is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. Oh, well, it looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Well, let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. Looks like a note from the victim. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch you up to you later. Yeah, and it's from Mr. Portsman. Alright. That's interesting. We'll check the ball too, just in case. Is this basketball property of Mr. Portsman? Yes, sir. He's always ready for a match. Basketball, soccer, dodgeball, tennis. It doesn't matter what sport it is, he's game. Although I think it'd be a little hard to play tennis with this ball. That isn't the point you should be focusing on, Detective. Well, you're right, sir. Now I know what I should be focusing on. Bad Mr. Portsman. Someone should teach him to clean up his toys after he's done playing. What? I think we've reached the end of this conversation. Sorry, I just sort of spaced out during the middle of that. Let's do some logic, shall we? I cannot do logic yet. I do not have the pieces. How unfortunate. Can I talk to Maggie about it? Oh, that's not what I intended to do. Skip that. Skip it, skip it, skip it. Well, hold on. I can inspect the evidence, yeah? Let's do that. This is just a paper, yeah? Can inspect that. Okay. Well, I think I do need to talk to Maggie, yeah? Can I present to her the note, perhaps? That doesn't seem very helpful. How about the basketball hoop? Okay, nothing there. We can check the note, just in case. Okay. Once again, nothing. Well, I mean, I know what happened. I just don't know how do I progress from here. I didn't miss anything over here, did I? No, I can't move the screen anywhere. And I could talk to Gumshoe, but that probably wouldn't do anything. Can I fingerprint the doorknob? I don't see any signs of forced entry. And according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Ah, there we go. That's all I had to do. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. How, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. But what? Mr. Portsman? I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Whoa! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of a joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jocks Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? A legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. It really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlock the door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you are stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusation on, with evidence. Alright. Oh, you got... Let's see here. You got in here using the master key, obviously. But not... You did not steal it. You just got it from... Got Maggie to use it for you.
Objection!
Huh. I believe you were able to open my office door, with the master key no less.
Objection!
Wait. Hold on for a second. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with a key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See? Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you had wanted? And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right. They do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression that the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Portman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? The basketball hoop.
Take that!
Oh man, those lines were not that great. What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone the hallway in this building. Which is why it left usually. That's not right. Which is why it left which is why it left such a strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside an office of a peculiar prosecutor. That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting right there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There were signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip, but I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So, he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I am as pure and innocent as my jacket, and Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. But my jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Okay, well, we know where to go. You say you were in your room the entire time, and yet there's a note underneath your door.
Objection!
That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you.
Objection!
That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. What do we want to use here, actually? Ah, this. I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Furthermore, all of the prints on my office's doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We all know you stole into my office with the intent to... Stole into my office? What? Excuse me? We all know you... Bleh. How do I want to phrase this? We all know you snuck into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Oh man. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on his face, on the face of the world's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edwards just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, it's full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that doorknob down well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch the doorknob that you had touched. which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own fingerprints would be on there. You just made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, that's where the note Jim left for me. Do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now, that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he simply didn't overlook it. Or didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for us all if I had told you sooner. Alright, what is this supposedly airtight alibi? If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 AM, correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check for his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him around 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. You see? All the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradiction point in his alibi somewhere. Let's see. Let me see my evidence real quick. The body was found around 2:05. Okay. Only one shot had been fired from the revolver. The prints on the safe were wiped. I don't know if I have anything here. I think I'm just gonna press him.
Hold it!
It is, as you say. However, Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see.
Objection!
Oh, come on now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you don't remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So, you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building. I headed straight for the precinct. Okay.
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. Let me see. Well, unfortunately we don't have prints on this, I think. But we do know that only one shot was fired. Huh. Well, it couldn't have been this, right? Do I present this, perhaps?
Objection!
That was not right. Okay. So where do we start dismantling this? Yeah, ask around. The other detectives will corroborate my story. You claim to have been down in criminal affairs. Still don't know exactly what's up with the stolen case file. The key. We don't have the time on when the key was stolen. Oh man, they actually put a tough one in the tutorial. All right. Well, we can try pressing the last statement.
Hold it!
Well, we did go around and ask to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! Okay, well, it's not that it was a tough one, it's just that it's impossible. Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Alright. Well, we know there was another handgun. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Well, that's why the files would be put into disarray twice. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun, and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back,
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great. So you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean, 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice, and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Ah. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed some sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen Zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only, just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So, the shelves getting messed up twice and the two bullets? It was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times. Precisely. So now, do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
Objection!
Ooh. That screen shake. Is it causing a bit of screen tear? We'll have to see next time it happens. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But, you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. Well, see, that doesn't really matter because we're not in court. This argument that has been made, along with the evidence that has been presented to us thus far, is definitely enough to indict you. And that's really all we have to do. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Wow, that dialogue came out really slow. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe it, this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? Well, we should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was out at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. You never said you were training in your room. So, you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-end. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Okay, I need to check my evidence again, because I've already forgotten what's in there. Let's see, the badge, crime scene. So it says crime scene notes, but it's actually a picture. Victim's revolver. Secret safe. Stolen Zero Series file. You claim to have been training in your room. That's weird. Let's press these, shall we? But according to Mr. Faith's note... Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, say, just before he was murdered... I don't have any, no. You see? So I insist again that I was in my office at the entire time.
Hold it!
And why didn't you go to there with Mr. Faith? That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know, those sofas in the hallway, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? There were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Okay, well that's pretty important, shall we say? Let me press that before he presents stuff. A gun and a pendant. Yeah, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim. And why were you taking them to Criminal Affairs? There was something in a past case file I wanted to compare these two to. But all this has nothing to do with the case right now. Anyway, I believe you'll find a long paper trail I left to be your to your satisfaction. This is all matching up with what Detective Gumshoe found out. Do I have that pendant in evidence? Because it has the same engraving that this gun does. The horse. I think I just present the victim revolver, yeah?
Objection!
No, okay. That's not what we do. Because you say that gun is evidence, but that's clearly the victim's gun, yeah? Or maybe we present the crime scene then? Oh, wait, no, I'm... Bleh. The note. The note says you brought 3 pieces of evidence, yeah, duh. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read. Carefully. It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe it. To get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Wait, don't come any closer. I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Oh. Okay, okay, I heard something in the music. I'll have to check that out later. Because it would be unequivocally points to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into the coffin. This coffin. KG. Oh, there's blood on it. That's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find out the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now, you will tell us when and how the victim's blood found its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for his fingerprints? If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would be the murderers, you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. Oh, don't eat your medal, bud. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please, accept my apologies. It was nothing, really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. Oh, you know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute for a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although, we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh. Well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Oh, yeah. I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages. I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes. I came across this while processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is it a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of a raven. The three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, Detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief that everyone's talking about? Yes. It is the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although, it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see it. It seems that Edgeworth is still allergic to flipping over papers. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. How many times are we going to say that? Come on. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Of course. Going back in time a little bit. A classic. Yes, please save the game. Oh, and here we are. Chapter 2. Let me drink some water. Alright. Ready for the second one? I'm not yet. Give me a second. I'm not gonna be gone long enough to justify taking out the break time screen. Just, chill for a second, yeah? Alright. I'm good. Here we go. Episode 2. Now, since this is an endurance stream, I would like to get through this second episode as well. That first one took 2 hours. Second one is obviously going to be a bit longer. So let's hope this goes well. The murder that occurred in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Thinking back, everything began on that fateful day, 2 days ago. That was when you were still abroad, yeah? Or maybe you just got back? Well, no, you went to your office at 2 a.m. You obviously got back just then. Yep, on the plane. Ooh, big plane. Yes. Everything began high up in the air. 9,000 feet in the air to be precise. Thank you for flying GoU Airlines. We are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. We are asking all passengers to please return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts now. Alright. Someone get bashed with the bottle? Oh, Edgeworth, unconscious, are you? You were bashed with the bottle, huh? Uh... Why do I feel like I just woke up from a horrible nightmare? 6:13, huh? Guess I was out cold for about 10 minutes. Slight turbulence indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. For your safety, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. I suppose turbulence is to be expected on flights, though admittedly I'm less than comfortable with anything resembling earthquakes. Ah, you dropped your wallet in the wine. What's this? A travel wallet? But it's not mine. How did someone else's travel wallet wind up in my pocket? Ugh, my head. Why won't this headache go away? I'll take care of this travel wallet later, or hand it off to an attendant. Ugh, from earthquake-like turbulence to an elevator. No. What am I doing hesitating like this? Actually, I know full well why I hesitate. It was when I was still but a young child. We need to recap for the people who didn't play the other games. I was caught up in a murder that happened in an elevator. But how long am I going to let my past haunt me? It's just an elevator. I'm a grown man now. I need to behave like one. What the? What in the world happened? Is there something wrong, sir? I must ask that you please return to your... he's dead. Please, calm down. You mustn't jump to conclusions without all the facts. What's wrong? Did something happen? You murderer! What? No! You have it all wrong. It wasn't me. Alright. Oh, and Edgeworth has been tied to his chair. Or tied up in his chair, I guess. Everyone, I am sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. I am one of your flight attendants today, Rhoda Tenero. Unfortunately, we have just had a minor accident on this flight. An accident? Don't treat us like we're stupid. I caught a glimpse and it was a murder. What? Murder? What's going on with this flight? Everyone, please calm down. There's no reason to panic. This flight will stay on course and make its scheduled landing. We are still currently in the middle of a rough patch of turbulence. So until we are out of this area of turbulence, I ask that you please remain seated. But someone was killed, right? I mean, what about the killer? Let me off. Please, there's no need to feel threatened. We have already apprehended the culprit. I ask that everyone please remain calm. What the heck is he talking about? Why should we remain calm? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecutor, and I assure you I am not the killer. Ha! Being a prosecutor doesn't make you incapable of murder, buddy. Now you listen here. I am not the killer. I simply found the body. So you say. However, I am sure that you are the perpetrator of this crime. I swear on my honor as a professional flight attendant. Oh, is that right? I know what I saw. And there's even very strong incriminating evidence to back me up. What kind of incriminating evidence is she talking about? We've already alerted the proper authorities at our destination. Until we land, you will remain in our custody by the powers vested in our captain. I'm very sorry, but please understand our situation. Your situation? I'm more concerned with mine and the direction it's going. I'm not about to just sit idly by while I get accused of murder. Miss Tenero, was it? Yes. I was wondering if you might give me a chance. A chance to do what? A chance to plead my case. And a chance to ask what you mean by incriminating evidence just now. To accuse a passenger of such a grave crime without allowing him to give it proper defense, can the professional flight attendant inside of you really call this action righteous? Oh man, this is stupid. Since when? What? Okay, never mind. Just go with it. You have a point. Very well, I'll listen to what you have to say, but be wary of what you reveal. I'm afraid you'll only look even more suspicious if your explanation fails to satisfy. I also do not have time to deal with you all day, so please make it quick. Of course, as you wish. Good. Very well then, let's get started. I know for a fact that I didn't kill the man in the elevator. What I don't know is what sort of evidence she has up her sleeve, but I'm certain it doesn't fit with how the crime really occurred. I swear to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant. Why does she keep doing that? What does being a professional flight attendant have to do with detective ability or truth? Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I am certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in front of the elevator, it was you, standing there with fresh blood dripping off the murder weapon. So, if you would please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land. That's it? That's her evidence? I don't think you could ask for a more perfect witness testimony. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? Not really. It's hardly perfect when there's a gaping hole in it. The whole thing is rubbish. Man. Yep. Standing there with blood on the murder weapon, of all things? Oh, I should probably read this. Oh, there's an itinerary. That's useful. Anything else? No.
Objection!
Miss Tenero. What is it with you yelling all of a sudden? Ugh, force of habit. Well, it doesn't matter. Miss Tenero, you say you saw the murder weapon dripping with blood. Is that correct? Yes. All that blood? Dripping? Just recalling that scene sends a chill down my spine. Sorry, but your so-called professional flight attendant training has failed you. What? I'd like to direct your attention to this. Do you know what this is? It's a travel wallet, right? But it looks a little big and bulky. The thing you saw me holding when I discovered the dead body in the elevator was this very travel wallet, Miss Tenero. What? Impossible. Now then, do you still think I am the killer? That I killed him with a travel wallet? But I saw blood dripping from the wallet. I know I did. As you can see, this wallet is clearly stained. But if you'd be so kind as to take a whiff, I think you'd agree it's only grape juice. Then, that's right. You mistook grape juice for blood. The murder weapon dripping with blood does not, in fact, exist. No! There. That should clear up that pesky accusation. Wait just a second. That is... I mean, even a wallet could be deadly if it was wrapped around something heavy. I demand that you show me what's inside. Now, please. She's trembling, and she tacked on please at the end. Sounds like I've got her. There's no need to look inside. Even you can tell from its appearance that it's a light. No, I can't be sure of anything until I've seen the contents of that wallet myself. She's a persistent one. I suppose we have no choice but to see what's inside. Then, Miss Tenero, if you'd be so kind as to open the wallet and check its contents for me. All right. I usually don't pry into passengers' belongings, but we have no choice here. Okay, anything on the outside? No. Grape juice stains the outer cover. True, it was I who dropped in the juice. However, I didn't do it with ill intentions. I wanted to open it. Oh, Virginia. I know that place. It seems that this passport is all that's in here. As you saw, there was nothing but a passport inside. This renders your wallet was the murder weapon argument moot. Wouldn't you agree? Please, hear me out, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it now? Well, I was wondering, whose passport is it exactly? Can I take a look? Why not? I'm rather curious myself. This is... just as I thought. Type P. What does type P mean? You don't mean blood type, do you? Ackby Hicks. From Borginia. Why does it say at the bottom there? P. Rob Hicks Ackby. Why does it say Rob Hicks? Then we have a number. Passport number 122750921K. Okay, that's real? I don't know what the rest of the numbers are for though. And I'm just going to assume that we don't have to worry. I mean, unless the fact that it says Rob Hicks at the bottom, his actual surname is Hicks. I don't think this is a fake passport. Oh, I mean, I guess we could be smuggling cocoons again. This travel wallet belonged to Mr. Ackby Hicks, which makes it the victim's property. You stole the victim's wallet, didn't you? How dare you? You said it yourself. You claimed to be holding this wallet in your hands when I found you. Perhaps I did misconstrue the wallet for the murder weapon, but it seems that I wasn't wrong about who the culprit is. Okay, is anyone in this game ever going to make a good testimony or claim? Come on, I know this is the second case, but that's still upsetting. As you claimed, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed. I find it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money, weren't you? Money? Money? Prosecutor Edgeworth, concerned about money. Oh, man. So, even though I didn't have the murder weapon on me, you still suspect me, I see. Not to mention, this is a super high-class flight. Look at this. Look at this. Best restaurant in the sky. 2-story commercial airliner with an elevator in it. I don't think anyone here is worried about money. So, you stood up at the crime scene with the victim's wallet in your hands. How can I turn a blind eye and not suspect you of foul play? Oh man, what's on my evidence? I need to see my whole kit. Badge, wallet, crime scene notes. Well, his money seems to be scattered everywhere. Then he has a little reward. He had something around his neck that's no longer there. And he looks like he died by getting hit in the back of the head. And as you claimed, the murder weapon, the travel wallet.
Hold it!
You think I was after his money? But where did that cockamamie idea come from? True, you are also a passenger in first class, but I thought something was off about you and those deeply etched lines on your forehead. They're not lines, they're perfectly normal and part of my natural face. I don't think I've ever met someone with such a terrible countenance on a flight before. And that's when it hit me. You have the face of someone with money trouble. She really is making a fool of herself pursuing this line of logic. I should spare her and present the piece of evidence that contradicts her testimony. Okay, well, do I present the wallet? Or do I present the money? Or like the crime scene money?
Objection!
I wonder if I might get a word in, Miss Tenero. What is it now? Miss Tenero, I wonder if you noticed the contradiction within your own testimony. What are you talking about? It's simply impossible that the motive for this murder was monetary theft. One glance at the crime scene should have told you that. What about the scene would prove that the motive for murder was not money? The money on the ground.
Take that!
If I may direct your attention to the things strewn all over the floor. Ah! That's right. The floor is covered in bills and coinage. By your rationale, these were the very things the killer was after. I think we can assume that the wallet fell during the victim's struggle with his killer. And I would think that the killer would have noticed something like the money scattering everywhere. Furthermore, as you can see, there was no effort made by the killer to gather the money. But The wallet.
Objection!
Yes, the wallet. You will also recall that the only thing in it was Mr. Hicks' passport. If you are really insisting that it was a crime based on greed, then you are claiming that it was all for an empty travel wallet. Forgive me. Please. Hey, what the heck? Are you saying the attendant's wrong? Of course she's wrong. So, that guy isn't the killer? Ha! Don't believe it, everyone. It's a trick. Will you all please be quiet? Miss Tenero. Yes? You lost your cool when you saw the dead body. Plus, the lounge was dark and looking into the light from the elevator. It's easy to see how you mistook the wallet in my hands for the murder weapon. I take no offense that you thought that I was the killer. Mr. Edgeworth? Ah, finally. Thank you for releasing me. That took long enough. Oh, and why is he mad? And why is he speaking in hieroglyphs? What is it now? Hieroglyph, hieroglyph, hieroglyph. Miss Tenero, if you could please translate, I'd be much obliged. It sounds like Borginian, but I don't understand any of it. There's another attendant on this flight who... I said that he is giving the runabout! I don't require an interpreter. I speak English just well, see? You, the attendant. Yes, sir. I want this person to be under arrest until we arrive at the airport. I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly are you hoping for? What is it you want? I'm finished talking to the likes of you. Please, I would like to hear why you would like to have me held under arrest until we land. You... How dare you try to waste my time? You were the one who stuck your nose into my affairs. I wanted to spend even at least one more second with my precious art. I've no time for other things. I know what you are. I see through you. Insolvent. Yes, I am pretty sure that's how you say it in English. Well, I should hope I'm not monetarily bankrupt. But I don't think that's what you meant. I'm sorry, but I don't think I caught your name. I'm Zinc LeBlanc. I'm Zinc LeBlanc II. I am a very wealthy man in Borginia. But I am not an ordinary rich man. I am an art dealer, a rich seller of beauty. Are you smuggling cocoons, my friend? Mr. LeBlanc, what did you mean just now? Pardon? When you said that Mr. Edgeworth was giving me the runabout, I have to explain? Unbelievable. I will say it once and only once. I do not have even a second to waste. Time is money, as they say. Yes, and yet you continue to blather on. I saw it. Yes, I did. I saw the victim go onto the elevator, going down to the lounge. It was at exactly 6 o'clock. And what's the significance of that time? At 6, he says. Wait, you saw him at 6? What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, if we recall here, that is right when drinks were ending and the movie was beginning, which is not notable yet. He understands, I see. Miss Attendant, what time did you discover the body? Well, it was a little after that patch of turbulence, so I would say around 6:15. Oh, yeah, that's also true. Hicks was his name, was it? Then I say that man Hicks was killed in the 15-minute time span. And the only person in the lounge at the time was the prosecutor, yes? Yeah, I was in my seat the whole time. Me too. I was watching the movie and enjoying a fine glass of grape juice. Because we can't mention alcohol in this game, or else the age rating will change. I was still eating. I still haven't finished, see? The other passengers have an alibi, so you have no problem with them, I suppose. No complaints, I see. Not a single word against this, right? I have no way of discounting what you have put forth at this point, but it wasn't me. Oh, so you say. But do you have, what do you say, the evidence? Mr. Edgeworth, are you really the culprit after all? Mr. LeBlanc, I suppose you are quite certain in what you saw, enough to give testimony? Of course! I was looking at the man the whole time. He was playing with that annoying little, small machine the whole time. Machine? Yes, that's what you people call it in English, yes? It was making me crazy with the click, click, click. From that description, it sounds like some sort of small computer. I believe what Mr. LeBlanc was talking about is a cell phone. I have to say, I did see him playing with it quite a bit myself. A simple cell phone, a laptop organizer I can see, but that's kind of low budget. I hate that noisy little machine in his hand. Not a fragment of beauty. All it produces is ugly sounds. Anyway, I know what I saw. Is it really a cell phone? I assume we are talking about the cell phone and not that little statue, but it could be the statue. Miss Tenero. Yes? I was wondering if I might be granted permission to examine the crime scene. What? You want to examine the crime scene? If you would grant me a little measure of time, I'm sure I can produce the real culprit. I don't like the sound of that. Fox in the duck pen. Yes, I think that is how you say it in English. It's Fox guarding the hen house, and I believe my innocence was proven earlier. And if I'm given the chance, I can clear up all the remaining doubts. Miss Tenero, if you wait until we arrive, there's a good chance that some of the evidence will have been destroyed by then. I understand. Let me see what the captain has to say. Ha! This should not be approved. Please, Mr. LeBlanc, in an emergency, all decisions are to be made by the captain alone. Now, please wait here while I go ask the captain what to do. I'll be right back. You are not planning to erase evidence when you are doing your investigation, yes? Of course not. Ha! We will see. Oh. Mr. Edgeworth, you have the captain's permission to investigate the crime scene. What? Unbelievable! I am in your debt, Miss Tenero. However, there is one condition. I am to supervise you. Can you agree to that? Of course. I see no problem with that stipulation. It's only natural that I am still a suspect in this case. I take full responsibility and will watch Mr. Edgeworth's every move. I hope this is reassurance enough that there will be no foul play. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, shall we proceed? If you should need my help with anything, please feel free to talk with me. It's time to head to the scene of the crime, the first floor lounge. Oh, do I have to walk there myself? I do. Now, let's see here. What do we got? I want to thank you for your help back there, Miss Tenero. It was nothing. You should thank the captain for granting you permission. And just so everything is perfectly clear, I still don't trust you. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, my initial suspect is the other flight attendant, because she said the other one knows Burgundian. And just based off of what I know from the other games, I'm going to assume the flight attendant is an agent trying to stop the smuggling of the cocoons. I mean, I think it definitely reused that plot point, yeah? After all, why would they bring up Burgundia otherwise? I still don't trust you. Your standing with me hasn't changed one iota. I see. I'll bear that in mind. I received an order from the captain earlier. He wanted you to know that we reserve the right to stop your investigation if we feel you are not making progress. And when we do, he asks that you please return to your seat at that time. So, my time runs out at his and his crew's discretion, does it? I have to find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's testimony before time's up. I understand. By the way, is there any place you can think of where the killer might hide on board? I don't think so. After every first-class passenger was accounted for at his or her seats, we made a thorough search of the plane. As for business and economy class, no one can move between those two classes and first class without a staff keycard. and we found no record of a keycard being used at all. Which means that I have a first-class killer on my hands. At least I know that much for sure. And one other thing. No one else has been allowed near this crime scene since the murder was discovered either. Alright, do we actually have a time limit? That'd be nice. It doesn't look like it so far. Now then, let's get started. But where should we start from? Let's start with Mr. LeBlanc's statements. The crime occurred between 6 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. During that interval, the only person in the lounge was myself, which would make me the prime suspect. However, since I did not kill Mr. Hicks, it means that the killer was around somewhere. If we are to believe what you say is true, then yes. The first order of business will be to gather information to win your trust. Well, let's see. Since we don't actually have a time limit, let's just start from the left side and start working our way over, shall we? And this looks like it just got knocked over during turbulence. These bottles and glasses must have been broken by the turbulence. There's quite a bit of broken glass here. Please be careful when passing through the area. Thank you very much for the warning, Mr. Edgeworth. However, no matter how kind you are towards me, know that it does not clear up my suspicions I have about you. I wasn't warning you for the sake of clearing my name. Let's see. These counter windows offer a glimpse of the sky, but these clouds tell me nothing. Mr. Edgeworth, you look like you're talking to the clouds. If that's so, then tell me, what do you suppose I said to them? I don't know, but it looked like a rather one-sided conversation. Clouds, they tell me nothing. There are a few copies of Sky Magazine in the magazine rack. This month's special is an English trivia quiz. That's not a bad idea. I've heard the youth of today don't know a particle from a I've heard the youth of today don't know a particle from a participle. Now, please don't go around confusing people with made-up words, Mr. Edgeworth. Who's ever heard of such silly words as participle? Case in point. I don't think I have anything to gain from the piano. Why don't we check this? What, or who, is this? This is a bronze statue of the founder of GoU Airlines, Mr. Hugo Hughes. The one on the left is one of when he was in his 40s, and the other is him in his 80s. Did the man age at all over those 4 decades? Maybe I need to squint more. I wanted to check this thing on the floor, not... Okay, well, I guess we're not going to be able to look at it. This toppled over chair, yet another victim of the turbulence. No! Look at all that grape juice staining the back. It may not look like it, but this chair was extremely valuable. It was? Yes, it was used when the Rocker Pals came to tour this plane. The Rocker Pals leaders sat in this very chair. I'm sorry, but what are these Rocker Pals? I can't believe you never heard of them. They're all the rage. The Rocker Pals are an extremely popular international band. They added the Pals part because they became more popular, especially among teens. Ah, that explains it. I'm not really one for the music of today. Maybe I should ask Detective Gumshoe about them later. On second thought, I can already see how confusing the conversation would get. A pity that the bronze statue knows not when a good drink has been spilt at its feet. This is a statue of our founder, Mr. Hugo Hughes, who was a big fan of grape juice. I am sure he would be thrilled if he knew so much grape juice was here at his feet. Is that a hint of a hero-worshipping I detect? Alright, well, I suppose it's time to check the body. I don't see anything else of note. What floors does this elevator service? Only the first and second, although it can also go down to the cargo hold. However, that requires a flight crew keycard. So, the only floors accessible to the passengers are the first and second, huh? Okay, let's see. The machine that's clicking. What is this sinister-looking figure on the floor here? Oh, that's a piggy bank of our company mascot, Captain Hugo. It's just one of the many many pieces of merchandise we sell at our in-flight shop. This bank is a limited edition and so popular that we're down to our last one. You have an in-flight shop? Yes, it's just beyond the lounge to the right. The shutter to the store is closed at the moment, but it was open the whole flight up until Mr. Hicks' body was discovered. There's blood on here. Could this have been the murder weapon? Okay, I thought that might have been the clicking machine. It's just a piggy bank. Gotcha. What about that little lanyard around his neck, huh? I wonder what was hanging off this lanyard. Something's missing from this picture. Now, if I could just put my finger on it. Yes. This is in his pocket. Is it a napkin? There's something sticking out of his pocket. Hope he won't mind if I take a look at what's inside. Oh? It's a picture. It looks like it was taken inside a building somewhere. Alright. A museum. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh. What was that around his neck? Oh, his phone. Okay, it is a phone. The clicking machine, that is. Okay. I doubt anyone was expecting to find a dead body in the elevator on this flight. So, Mr. Hicks, he's really dead? Yes. She's trembling, although I can't fault her for that when there's a corpse right there. Mr. Hicks, if you're really dead, then please answer yes. I see, she's over the trembling now. Although a new symptom seems to have appeared. Anyway, I should focus on the victim's body. Let's see. There's blood on the back of Mr. Hicks' head. Could this be the cause of death? He appears to have been struck very hard. Okay. Even his glasses are broken. Okay, we have a running theory. So, the elevator goes down to the cargo hold. You can only get there with the staff key card. The other, you can only access, like you can only enter and exit first class using a staff key card. And we know that the other staff is capable of translating Borginian. So it seems to me that this guy is trying to smuggle something, probably, and there's going to be a deal on the cargo hold. So when he went down at 6, he went down to the cargo hold, got killed, and then Edgeworth called him at the elevator back up, I guess, at around 6. No. Someone else came up the elevator with the body, planted the wallet in Edgeworth's pocket, and then left. Probably the other flight attendant, if I had to guess. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So let's do some logic. Let's see here. Connect the first and second floor. No. We can connect those two. A statue with blood on it lying next to the body of a man who was beaten to death. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, I think I figured something out. Yes? What is it? The way the blood is on it, it looks like this matches up with the wound on his head. Well, aren't we deserving of the Master of Obvious title? Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't you think that's worth investigating? It would appear that this figurine is our murder weapon. Oh, I just knew it. I mean, I can't think of any other connection. Perhaps Master of the Oblivious would be more befitting. Okay. Broken glasses. Well, we know that the murderer was in the elevator at some point. True, there wasn't anyone else in the lounge other than myself right before the turbulence. But if the killer was in the elevator along with the victim, that's a different story. I don't know, I don't think we present the broken glasses there. I mean, we can try it. Our health regenerates, we might as well. No reason not to. Yeah, thought so. Just wanted to see. Anyway, let's do some things. Yes, we have the photo here that shows that his phone is supposed to be there. Mr. Hicks' machine is nowhere to be found. His machine? Ahem. His cell phone, Miss Tenero. Ah, so I guess because it's not here, Yes, I think we can safely deduce that the killer took it. Alright. And let's see, what else do we got? What other evidence do we have? The travel wallet, which is empty, of course. Can I open it back up? I can. And only the passport inside. Yep. And let me inspect that passport for a second. Okay, I can. Let's see, what else? Between 6 and 6:15. That's 8, that's 7, 6, 16. The only thing that was happening was a movie, and drinks just ended. Yes. And let's see, what else in the photo? Nothing of note. Since we don't have an image of him while he's on the flight. Let's check this. I suppose this is where you insert your coins. I have to say, for a piggy bank, it's rather well made. So well, in fact, I'm not sure if there's a way to take your money out. I was wondering about that. Where do you take the money out? Do you actually have to smash it? There's some blood on one of the corners. Could this piggy bank be the murder weapon? Well, that's what we are assuming right now. And I don't see any way to take the money out. What about with... Okay, now we can't inspect his hand, it looks like. Suppose we just inspect the money on the floor and that's it. Money is strewn all over the floor of the elevator. I would guess it was all in Mr. Hicks' wallet at some point. Yes. That's where the staff keycard goes, it looks like. I don't think there's anything else in the elevator to look at. Oh. No grape juice residue on the soles of his shoes, making it highly unlikely that Mr. Hicks entered the elevator after the turbulence. I didn't even notice that. Well, let's see. Anything else to note? I don't think so. Where else do we want to check? Ah, I didn't check the puddle, duh. There's some spilled grape juice in front of the elevator. I assume it was spilled during the turbulence. Oh, we must clean that up or someone might get hurt. Aha! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I found some very important evidence. What is the important piece of evidence in this scene? The footprints, duh.
Take that!
What is it? They're a little smudged, but I think we can both agree there are a set of footprints here. So you think? Yes, these belong to our killer. Oh, then maybe we should check the shoe sizes of everyone in first class. I don't think that will be of any help to us. Unfortunately, the prints are too smudged, which will make it hard to get a definitive match. Oh, I see. There is some detail there, still. Glasses and candles thrown into disarray by the turbulence. It's been a while since I've seen this big of a mess. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen this big of a mess. It's terribly embarrassing, but I thought it was an earthquake for a second. And I frantically started searching for gas valves to shut off. I guess the shaking of the plane was bad enough to be mistaken for a real earthquake. Not that I would know, since I was unconscious for most of it. Oh, I guess we can check the piano. This grand piano is the pride of this plane. It can play the music of whatever CD we insert into the CD drive. But that's not a piano. It's more an overgrown music box. Ah, but its keys to press along with the music, as though there was really someone playing it. Some people have entirely too much money to waste on overly complex toys. Indeed. And this door leads to the flight attendant's room, but please understand that it's off limits to the unauthorized personnel. The room is giving off a scent of woman's perfume. One would think this perfume would smell great, however, to me it simply smells. Not that I have any interest in what lies beyond this door. Perhaps we should return to the investigation, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? Sorry, I spaced out for a second there. No, I think it's actually pretty important to go in there. I don't think there's anything else to inspect, though. Oh, we can inspect this. The in-flight shop is just beyond these shutters. But we don't have permission to open them, so I'm afraid we must leave them closed. There must still be clues to be found in this lounge. I must remain ever vigilant. Really, I didn't see anything else. I mean, I'm already sort of out of things. Because I can't inspect that for some reason. It's just on the floor. Oddly detailed as it may be. Is there anything on the body? Okay, you know, why don't we take a look at our evidence, right? Spilled grape juice. Well, someone came out of the elevator, and it wasn't Hicks, because his shoes are clean. There we go. I have it! I'm sorry, but I don't understand, Mr. Edgeworth. I can prove that someone other than myself was here around the time of the murder. What? Really? Yes, that's rather simple, actually. The proof is in the pudding, or rather, the grape juice in this case. These footsteps here confess to me the very fact that someone exited the elevator, alive. Seeing as how the victim is dead, that would mean a second person. But couldn't the footprints be from Mr. Hicks himself? Ah, but if you take a look at our victim's shoes, you can see the soles are spotless. Which means Mr. Hicks wasn't alone in the elevator. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There's actually one other person inside the elevator. There we go. What's going on over there? Hieroglyph, hieroglyph, hieroglyph. Hieroglyph, hieroglyph. Unforgivable. This is unforgivable. Do you understand what I'm saying? The movie is late. It is the same level of bad as if the plane arrived late. But the movie... What? I will not talk to you anymore. You are just wasting my time. What is the matter, Mr. LeBlanc? If there is no emergency, please return to your seat. Do not tell me what to do. I need not sit down. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, did you prove you are innocent yet? If you would like, I will prove my innocence to you right now. What? Nonsense. Are you saying my eyewitness testimony is mistaken? Not mistaken, merely that there is room for doubt. I'd be most honored if you could please tell me what you saw in detail once more. Fine. Suit yourself. Let's see, will he give a competent testimony? I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter that elevator. It was when the needles on my pocket watch were pointed at the 6 and the 12. The body was discovered 15 minutes after that in the lounge, yes? Then you, the only person in the lounge at the time, must be the criminal. Mr. LeBlanc's conclusions seem to make logical sense. After all, the only person in the lounge at the supposed time of the murder was me. So, my eyewitness testimony, if you think you can destroy it, then come. Let me see. Hurry. Do I look like a man who is having the time to wait for you? Why is he so irritated? I'm the one accused of murder here. Anyway, I must find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's account somehow, and fast. Well, where do we want to start here? Hold on, let me wipe something. Okay, let's see. You did, in fact, see him enter the elevator. That's fine. And you did, in fact, see him enter at 6. That is also fine. And the body was discovered 15 minutes afterwards, yes. But I was not the only person in the lounge. We know that there's another person.
Objection!
Mr. LeBlanc, your testimony just now contradicts this piece of evidence. Oh, nope, that doesn't... Why does that not count? No, we're not going to bother reading that. So, why does that not count? Didn't we just do the thing to prove that there was another person in the elevator? Oh well, oh well. Let's see. Was hit on the back of the head. Okay, unfortunately, even though we just deduced that there must have been another person in the elevator, we cannot present that. So we're going to press him.
Hold it!
That is the most mistaken way of thinking I've ever heard of. No, no, no. Your silly opinion is what is mistaken. Please calm down, the both of you. In a sense, you are both mistaken. Well, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, then I don't know what is. He certainly has a lot of confidence in his testimony. If push comes to shove, I may need to press him for more information. Yes, that is what I'm going to do.
Hold it!
Mr. LeBlanc, were you able to get a good look at this inside of the elevator at the time? Of course, I saw what was inside. And you are sure that the victim was in the elevator alone? Yes. The only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man. This last outburst is a bit too important to let go. The only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man. Well, that's what we need to put the thing on.
Objection!
Mr. LeBlanc, what is it? There is a very glaring contradiction in your testimony. What do you mean? Please take a look at the area in front of the elevator. Here, at the spilled grape juice. Yes, and? Will you admit that you also spilled it with the blood? No, it spilled itself during the turbulence. But the interesting thing here is a set of grape juice footprints. Footprints? Yes, the ones that lead from within the elevator out into the lounge itself. It's evidence that proves that someone other than Mr. Hicks exited the elevator alive. There must have been another person in the elevator, Mr. Hicks. Now then, I'm done playing games. Why don't you tell us the truth? Hieroglyph. Hieroglyph. Can you please translate for us? No way. That's totally impossible. I guess is what he said. No way. That is totally impossible. I know there was no other person in there. I saw it with my own eyes. If you want to know what I think, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't think Mr. LeBlanc is lying to us. I suppose she's right. He doesn't seem to be lying. But then what does it mean? What about this contradiction? Mr. LeBlanc, please, just once more, will you recall the details of what you witnessed for me? I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. I was always checking the time, over and over again. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me, and I saw clearly into the elevator he was entering. But I swear there was no one else inside. No one. Mr. LeBlanc, if you would please calm down. What? Dare you two have an issue with my eyewitness testimony? No, not at all. Please, forget what I said. Yet again, he doesn't appear to be lying. But I can't let this testimony stand as the truth. I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. I was always checking the time. Over and over again, yes. Why don't you tell me why you're upset? How about that? So, are you still upset now? I am always upset. The only time I am not is when I have a piece of art in my hands. It's surprisingly easy to believe that about him. But I was even more upset when Mr. Hicks walked by me.
Hold it!
Why were you so attentive to the time? Because something unforgivable was happening. Oh, come to think of it, you were yelling about something unforgivable earlier. I was giving a complaint to the attendant about the movie starting time. Return back to me my time. In money. You understand the point. The movie? Is he talking about the in-flight one that's mentioned in the magazine? Summary of the plot and its start time. Interesting. They were supposed to show License to Love, Laugh, Maim, and Murder. I cannot see that movie in my country. You can only see it on international flights. I looked forward greatly to that movie. I checked my pocket watch whenever possible so I would not miss it. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board. So my watch is not wrong. It matched the schedule. But the movie was still late. Very, very late. Your pocket watch. I'd like to ask you a little bit more about it, if that's alright. Hold on. You set it to the destination's time. Buddy? Buddy. No. That is not how that works. Do we have something here that says something about that? All times shown correspond to our departure time zone. Yeah.
Objection!
Mr. LeBlanc, you said this just now in your testimony. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board. Now, if your watch has been set to our destination's time zone, it would mean that your watch is displaying the time of our destination. Yes, and the correct time is worth its 6 cents. I would like you to take a look at this. If you believe this Sky magazine, clocks on this flight run in accordance with the time of our departure time zone. Of course, the movie schedule was also created with that in mind. Miss Tenero, for confirmation's sake, what time zone is this flight aligned to right now? Well, you made a short stop at a transfer point. That's right. It was in that small Asian country, the Republic of Zhangfa. But we didn't readjust our onboard clocks at that time, so right now we are still running on Borginian time. What? The time difference between Borginia and our destination is 9 hours. In that case, it's only natural that your watch would be out of sync with the schedule. What? Furthermore, with your analog watch set to our destination's time, it would appear to be running 3 hours fast when compared to the clock's onboard clocks. It also changes everything about your testimony, and you can bet 1 million cents on that. In light of this information, it means that you saw Mr. Hicks 3 hours prior to 3 a.m. My 1 million cents! This should clear up all of the remaining accusations. So, this basically widens the time frame for the time of the death, right? Yes. Because Mr. LeBlanc saw the victim enter the elevator at 3 a.m., it means that the time of death could be anywhere from 3 to 6:15. The question now is, where was Mr. Hicks during that span of time, and what was he doing? I've got something to say. And you are? Yeah, oh, I'm Cammy Mealy. I'm a flight attendant. And what is it you wish to say? Well, I think your story is a little different from how I remember it. What do you mean, Cammy? I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in a seat at 5 a.m., you know. What? How can you be so sure of the time? Oh, that's right. He pushed his call button while we were parked at the transfer point. Ah, the stop we made for refueling and cargo transfer in Zhangfa, huh? Yes, it was from 4 to 5 a.m., according to our clocks. And during that time, did any of the passengers leave, or did any new ones board this flight? No. Not a single person got off or on in Zhangfa. What about this flight crew? The few who were handling the cargo transfer might have temporarily gotten on or off, but eventually everyone, including Cammy and myself, came back on the plane. So basically, I can assume that no one left or got on since our initial takeoff. Interesting. I should keep that in mind. Yeah, and I answered his call. I can tell you, Mr. Ackby Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 a.m. Alright, then that puts the time of the murder between 5 and 6:15 a.m. Okay, so now what time did you come down to the lounge, Mr. Edgeworth? I remember coming down here almost as soon as we left the Republic of Zhangfa. Ah! You! You were here for the whole time from 5, yes? Then you are the only one who could be the killer. Mr. Edgeworth, were you really here in this lounge the entire time from 5 a.m. onwards? Unfortunately, yes. But then, how do we explain the footprints? Is that not obvious? This man waited for Hicks here in the lounge, waited to kill him. And then he put the corpse into the elevator. That is when the turbulence happened. My eyewitness testimony may have been mistaken, but what time I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator on the second floor does not matter, because the entire incident concluded here in this lounge. Everything happened in this lounge? Is that what you really believe, Mr. LeBlanc? Or do you have another idea? I simply feel that there was something out of place in the scenario we presented. Is there something that I can tie this criminal to a location other than the lounge? I would say so. I don't know if my evidence points to it. Let me see. I mean, I think the crime scene is the elevator, personally. I suppose it could also be the piggy bank, so meaning that the crime scene was the shop, but that doesn't make much sense considering the direction of the footprints. I think it's the elevator still.
Take that!
I don't need to hear your wild desperation stories. Grasping for weeds, I think is how you say it, yes? Ah, I didn't mean to pull that piece out. It was a simple slip of the hand, I assure you. Okay, well in that case I'm gonna say the piggy bank.
Take that!
The murder weapon. This little piggy bank is sold at the in-flight shop. It is sold there and only there and is not displayed here in the lounge. How then did it find its way here? Don't you find that a tiny bit suspicious? Such a trivial point. It only means you have prepared it, taking it from the shop first before coming here. It doesn't prove that you are innocent at all. Is there no way to win with this man? If I may. What is it? You see, well, it's just as Mr. Edgeworth says. Oh? And why do you know this so well? Well, it's just that piggy bank was there in the shop. I saw it with my own eyes. And when was this? It was maybe around 5:40 a.m.? Isn't that just before we hit the patch of turbulence? That's right. You were in the shop just before the turbulence. Yes, I was. Come to think of it, Miss Tenero, when I found the body, I believe you came out of that door. Yes, I did. And what is beyond that door? That's the flight attendant's room. Then you were on the first floor? Yes. I had to do something at the shop and in the flight attendant's room. So I went to the shop first, then to the flight attendant's room. And you are saying you passed by me at some point? Yes. You seemed really into the issue of Sky Magazine you were reading at the time. I don't suppose you noticed me walking by? I vaguely recall someone walking by, but I didn't take notice of who it was. Anyway, the piggy bank was definitely there at the shop when I went there. Why did you go to the shop in the first place? I went there for a work-related matter. Work, you say? Yes. The upkeep of the shop is also one of my responsibilities. Why did you not say anything about that until now, is what I want to know. In any case, I believe it's clear the shop needs to be investigated as well. Shall we head over there then? Hold it. What is it now? Aren't you forgetting something, Miss Rhoda? Don't you need the captain's permission to check the shop? No, I haven't forgotten. But I have already asked him for permission to search the entire plane. So I think we're all right. Uh-huh. That's weird. What is? Well, I just talked to the captain, see? And he said that he didn't give you permission to do anything like that at all. What is the meaning of this, Miss Tenero? It means she's lying. Go on, admit that you are. You said that you had permission to search all over, but you don't, and yet here you are. You, flight attendant. What are you trying to do? Pull a sheep over us? The captain's calling for you, Miss Rhoda. Oh, but don't worry. I already got permission to search the shop from the captain. See, unlike you, I do things the right way. Miss Tenero, why would you do such a thing? Please, excuse me. Oh, is she the agent? Looks like I get to be in charge now. Please, go back to your seat, Mr. LeBlanc. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would follow me, I'll be your guide from now on. There is something about Miss Tenero that has piqued my interest, or my curiosity. And right now, investigating the in-flight shop is my top priority. Oh, here we go. Shop time. Ooh, okay. Broken glass. And one of those dolls that you have. Some things are bolted to the floor, it looks like. So, this is the in-flight shop. It's quite a mess in here. You think? Guess I'll have to clean things up then. Hold on. You can't clean up a potential crime scene. Oh, thank goodness. I hate cleaning so much. I mustn't rush things here. I must remain cool, calm, and collected. Because this piggy bank thing was left at the crime scene. There's a very good chance that the killer had paid this place a visit. Now, let's see. Where do we want to start? Well, I suppose we start with the broken glass. The glass from this display case's door is shattered all over the floor. And it looks like there's nothing on display inside either. Wait, actually I think there is something. What's this? A mini captain's hat? I swear I've seen one of these before. Yeah, it's right here. There are all kinds of luxury name brand merchandise for sale in this display case. They're all lined up in such a manner as to scream "buy me" to any passersby. That's not why I wanted to check. Stuffed toys, just like the one Miss Melee is holding, are on display here. They're relatively cheap, which explains why they're displayed so haphazardly. How about it, Mr. Edgeworth? You know what to do. You know you want one too. They're great for when you're stressed. Why do I envision stuffed animal abuse when she says that? Can't check the magazines on the floor, it looks like. Only one of these only one of these bags is secured. What are these? Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door. That's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it. Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world, you try, then buy. No way, but either way, it doesn't really matter. True. Either way, why would anyone buy a suitcase after they've boarded a plane? Anyway, see that? Just look at all the Captain Ugo heads painted on there. Cute company mascot, isn't he? They're painted on with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump out at you? Well, it's certainly making something jump inside my stomach. Huh? Oh, I guess there's no fooling your refined tastes. You look like you really wanted to get one. And I thought I was going to finally make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Well, that's done. Never make me try to give you sales pitch ever again, okay? But I never showed any interest in it to begin with. It really is pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? This suitcase was designed by Miss Rhoda. Miss Tenero designed this. Yeah, it was a company-wide contest. Well, it does have a very sharp design sense. Sharp? Like stinky sharp cheddar, maybe. I really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with it. It's so... blah. Miss Tenero designed this, did she? It's definitely not what I would have expected. Ah! You okay? I'm fine. Please, watch yourself in this melee. Melee? 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 Letting a suitcase freely roll around has got to be a safety violation. Here, I'll put it back. Huh. Let's do some check here. Well, the tiny captain's hat probably goes on the murder weapon, right? The hat probably used to be on the piggy bank's head. Let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from the display case. Does this mean the killer broke the glass to get it? Really? Don't tell me you don't know where things go in this shop. Well, I don't. Miss Rhoda's in charge of this place. So, come on, how should I know anything? I sense that further inspection of the display case is needed. Yes, let's do that. There's a wide selection of souvenirs for sale in these display cases. You know what I'd suggest? Sorry, but I have no intention of buying souvenirs on this trip. Okay, then how about you buy something for me then? As a present. Now I can't think of a single reason why I'd want to buy you anything. But I've had my eye on that pendant for a long time. Try paying some attention to me when I ask you something, and then we'll talk. I won't... yeah. Let's see here. Well, we have an empty shelf for some reason. The glass on the store is broken. Perhaps it was the killer who broke it in order to take the piggy bank. But it's a bit odd that the inside of the case is so devoid of glass shards. Plus, the glass broke rather cleanly. Ah! What? I touched the glass and it cut my finger. It hurts, Mr. Edgeworth, it hurts. Please, tell me you can deal with such a minor cut on your own. Yes. Is there a glass panel here? I can hardly tell. GoU Airlines related books line this shelf. The history of GoU Airlines, the future of GoU Airlines, the 7 wonders of GoU, flight on GoU Airlines, working name U-Go Airlines, U-Go-U. The titles make it very clear that they won't be making it in the top sellers list anytime soon. Yeah. Oh wait, I can deduce. I forgot that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. And there is definitely something very unusual about this. About what? If the killer had broken the glass to get to the Captain Ugo bank, or Ugo, there should be shards of glass inside the case itself. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess it'd be like that. However, there's not a single piece of glass inside the display case. Nope, no there isn't. Which means the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over from the turbulence and right through the glass. Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor. I'm willing to bet that this hat was knocked off its head at that time, too. That's nice. Which leads me to believe that the killer took the Captain Ugo bank from here after the turbulence. But take your power naps on your own time, Miss Mealy, and listen to when I'm talking. But the murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules this piggy bank out as the murder weapon. So, you mean the bank's not the real murder weapon? It's a fake? Yes. At this point, that is a very real possibility. But then... What if when the killer wanted to take the Captain Ugo, they broke the glass by accident? The display case is locked, so that's highly unlikely. Yeah, but there's one person who could've. Oh, and who would that be? Miss Rhoda, of course. I mean, she's the one in charge of this place, so she has the keys to everything. Miss Rhoda Tinero, huh? Oh, what else is there to examine? Oh, apparently there's more to examine here if I didn't finish. Okay, well, I think I can just... I think the only thing to examine is that other shelf, right? Right. This is the same man as the one portrayed in this by the statues around the elevator. Yeah, that's a paperweight of the founder of GoU Airlines, Mr. Ugo Hughes. On the bottom shelf, we have a cute one. The middle shelf is a realistic one. And on the top shelf, that's the floral version. Floral? Are you sure about that? Let me guess. You just said the first thing that came to your mind, right? Looks like I hit the bullseye. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. I'm supposed to be doing the logic. That, yes. Anyways, turbulence and suitcase. Put them together. Yes, there's definitely something wrong here. But what's with the sudden yelling? Tell me, Miss Mealy, don't you think there's something strange about these suitcases? Oh, well, sure. They totally ooze strange, like the color and the such. That's not what I'm talking about. Now pay attention. You're scaring me, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry. These suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper. Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess they take after their creator. Again, that's not what I meant, Miss Mealy. Don't you find it unusual that these cases are the only things undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind, I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting the suitcases myself. Upon closer inspection, they really are quite hideous. I wonder how Miss Rhoda would have reacted if she heard what you just said. What's wrong? She makes a good point. It'd be wise of me to watch what I say out loud. What's this? I spotted something that's not quite right. What is so unusual about the suitcase? Well, I mean the fact that it's unsecured, right? That's the only thing I see. How do I get my cursor to go over the wheels? Is there anything else first? I should just check. No, they look identical other than the wheels. Yeah?
Take that!
There's something very peculiar about these wheels. Oh, huh? As in, there are no stoppers in place on these. Also, there's wine on it, or blood. Without stoppers, one would think that the turbulence would have sent it flying. And so, it's very likely that the suitcase was placed here after we hit the turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Zoom. Zoom in. Yeah, well, let's just check everything else first. Oh, that's a very expensive suitcase. Oh, we can actually see the images now. Look at that. What's this? The wheel is completely covered in something. This color and this scent. It appears the substance in question is grape juice. But why would there be juice on the wheel of a suitcase? Because it was dragged from the elevator. Oh, my controller just died. Oh, my controller just died. Alright, keyboard time. We're going to learn how to play the game with the keyboard. Let me get my keyboard ready. Let's see here. Keyboard. There we go. I need to move my water bottle. And I need to get the mouse ready too. Okay, let's see. Let's open it. It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. Oh, I'm showing my mouse. Can I change that in the middle of stream, I wonder? I don't want to show my mouse. I don't think I can, actually. Yeah, I think we're just going to be stuck with the mouse for now. I can check a little bit more. But that is very unfortunate, I must say. What if I change this? How about that? Ah, there we go. There we go. I think I changed it. Okay, we're good now. A piece of cloth. And soaked with blood. It's blood. It appears the suitcase is very strongly tied to our murder after all. So, explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder? I believe it's pretty safe to say the killer used a suitcase in some manner. Such as to move something, perhaps? Eh? But aren't you just talking about the cloth, then? That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I believe the killer used a suitcase to transport is this. I actually don't know. You didn't use it to transport the body, did you? No chance, right? I'm not sure. I mean, the body's the only large thing on the list, so let's go ahead and try it.
Take that!
Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it? But, in light of this, I'd say that Mr. Hicks was moved in the elevator from someplace else. Which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location. So, you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it? Exactly. What is it? Nothing. It's just that I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, okay, she's back. I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he's allowed you ample time. He says that he'd appreciate it if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat. I understand his sentiments. However, if I'm not allowed to complete my investigation, the crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist that I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course. If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way that I can, Mr. Edgeworth. That sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together. I found proof that the real crime scene was not in the lounge. And I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Mealy reminded me about Miss Tenero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. Oh, and there it is. The to be continued. Yes, please, save game. Did I just save it in the second slot in accident? I did. Oh, well, that's fine. Oh, hey, it's Sal. I haven't seen him in forever. Do we keep going? To be honest, my throat is starting to give out a little bit. We'll keep going, yeah. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Miss Tenero and Miss Mealy, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Tenero in private. So I'm left wondering just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. Oh, it's Franziska. Franziska? I thought you were still in Germany. I go where I am needed, and wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Franziska von Karma, the daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are. Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I am placing you under arrest. What? It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal. Have you no shame? Wait! It has all been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and beat him to death. Franziska, do you honestly believe I killed that man? I suppose I should reserve judgment until after I have investigated this for myself. I can put your arrest on hold until then. That's as it should be. Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for. Well, I have my own creed which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together? I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Too slow. Hey! Listen up. I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him? A simple yes or no, detective. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. You just leave it to me. Miles Edgeworth, if you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you'll excuse me. Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious as to what Franziska is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well. In that case, I have a few questions for you. Hey, some familiar music. But you know, unfortunately, I do think I am actually going to have to end it here, because my voice is just falling apart every second I continue talking. So, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Sigurd Scuffed, and I am signing off.